Sea of Thieves is in a bit of a tenuous state right now, and so I think it is very appropriate to look back at the golden age of Sea of Thieves, which was, in my opinion, from 2019 to 2021. As many people will know, the start of Sea of Thieves was a very rough one for the game. I got the game a week after release, and I will admit I really enjoyed it, including the addition of the Hungering Deep and Forsaken Shores updates, but a lot of people really did not like the game at the start. The game was pretty bare, and I do agree with it. I think that if you played the game for quite a long time at the start, I didn't play it for like hours and hours and hours every day, but people did, and they quickly got very bored of the game, and I can't really blame them because there wasn't much in the game. But over the next year, over really the rest of 2018, the game started to get much better. The Shrouded Spoilers update added so much to the game. It really built on the Hungering Deep. I believe it added Megalodons and so many new features to the game. And then, in 2019, they released the Anniversary update. And the Anniversary update, in my opinion, was really what started the prime of Sea of Thieves. On April 30th, 2019, the Anniversary update was released and it added the Arena, Pets, and more factions. Now, the Arena, in my opinion, was an exceptional mode, and throughout this time period of 2019 to 2021, the Arena was also in its prime. Now, for those who don't know, for maybe newer players, the Arena was a PvP-focused mode where you'd have 5 ships or so going in and fighting each other, trying to collect treasure chests, get points, sink ships, etc, etc. It was a really brilliant mode. There were sloops later on, but the start, I believe, was just galleons. I played a lot of it at the start, and I played quite a lot of it just in general, and honestly, it was one of my favourite things to do in the game. The queue times at the start were quick because everyone was playing it, so there was no 15-minute waits like there were towards the end of the Arena's lifespan. It was genuinely such a fun PvP mode. It was a bit toxic, but honestly, it was an amazing mode and so much fun. Pets were a long-awaited addition to the game, with parrots and monkeys being the first to be added in 2019, and obviously this has been heavily expanded upon with the addition of cats, dogs, foxes, and more. And honestly, the addition of pets was probably my favourite cosmetic change to the game. It really was one of those things people have been asking for since the launch, and really worked super, super well. Fishing was also added into the game, which was a really fun addition in my opinion. It just killed a lot of time, and whilst the Hunter's Call had become more obsolete, at the start it was a very, very new and fun way to play in my opinion. I've already made a video on the Hunter's Call, so I'm not going to touch upon it too much here. But in my opinion, the biggest change, and the best change probably, that they added to Sea of Thieves was the addition of Tall Tales. And Tall Tales are probably my favourite thing Sea of Thieves have ever added. And in 2019, the Anniversary update, they added 9 of it, the Shores of Gold Tall Tales. Now, while these did become grindy, if you were going for the commendations, you had to play them 5 times each, I believe, to get the commendations and the final cosmetics. But honestly, this was super, super fun. It was a way to go in and play and indulge yourself in the lore of Sea of Thieves. The Shores of Gold was an amazing new location, obviously for the 9th Tall Tale, and all of the locations were just packed with new story and new lore, and really were super fun to play. I played all of them multiple times. They gave you new cosmetics, they gave you a better look into the lore, and these were expanded upon in 2020. When they released the Heart of Fire Tall Tales, they released 2 more, the Seabound Soul and the Heart of Fire, which were focused around Stitcher Gem and Flameheart, and these were the 2 last really main Tall Tales we got before A Pirate's Life. But these 2 Tall Tales were incredibly fun. They were my 2 favourite at the time, and they were such a great change to the game. And then, obviously, in 2021, they revealed A Pirate's Life. The long-awaited and really collab people thought wouldn't happen at all. The collab with Disney and Pirates of the Caribbean, and this was incredible. The Pirates Life Tall Tales were by far and are by far my favourite Tall Tales in the game. They're my favourite thing they've ever added. It was such a hype moment in the time of the game. Everyone was like going mental. No one could believe this had been added, and honestly, it was one of the best additions they've made. The tales were super fun. They were quick-ish, but they were just perfectly timed. They added checkpoints. Honestly, the tales were incredible. They were super, super fun, and Tall Tales from 2019 to 2021 totally peaked. And since then, there has been no Tall Tales, like proper Tall Tales, added since. And that's really, really sad because the Tall Tales were unbelievable. I could talk for ages about how good the Tall Tales were, how good the Seabound Soul was, how good, the Heart of Fire was. They were so good. The areas they added were cool. The puzzles they released, for example, Tall Tales 6 in the original, and the Heart of Fire released really, really cool, interesting puzzles. You got to meet characters like Stitcher Jim, Flameheart, Briggsy, so many really cool, interesting characters from the lore of Sea of Thieves, and it really got me so much more involved in the game. And yeah, it was just incredible. And that's really when, in my opinion, the game peaked. And adding Jack Sparrow into the game, finally, and the Pirates of the Caribbean world, basically making Sea of Thieves canon in the Pirates of the Caribbean world, was just absolutely unbelievable. The tales were so well done, they were beautifully crafted. There were some glitches, but the new areas, like in the Sunken Curse, were absolutely incredible. It was genuinely one of the most incredible things I've seen in this game, and the locations, the puzzles, everything about the Pirates Life Tour tales were amazing. They were super polished, they were clean, the locations were amazing, the characters were great, obviously, and it was just an unreal moment for the game. Now, we also had really cool events throughout this time. I'm going to kind of jump back a bit in time. In 2019 to 2021, you obviously had the Black Powder runs and the original Mercenary Voyages, which I was really hoping for a long time, having like Mercenary Voyages in Sea of Thieves. Dark Relic, Smuggler's Fortune, they released the Fort of the Damned, which at the time was absolutely incredible and super, super competitive. They obviously had the Cruise of Rage, which, released the new Ashen Chest, the Heart of Fire update, which I touched on earlier, Ships of Fortune, Lost Treasures, the Haunted Shores. They released the Ashen Winds boss, which is one of my favourite to do because of how quick it is. They had the Vaults of the Ancients. They added vaults into the Gold Hoarders, which totally revitalised the Gold Hoarders. These vaults were super new. They were super fun. It was a whole new way to play the game, and it made the Gold Hoarder level so much easier to grind. And really, it was just so, so good. It was honestly, I really can't understate this. It was so incredible how many new things they added in this time period. The Vault of the Ancients update was one of my favourite things they've added to the game, and I remember me and some of my friends, and even random crews, just grinding this out because of how fun the vaults were, and how really, now they're easy. Back then you had to really rush, you had about 90 seconds to get in and out and get all the loot. You had to have someone who was experienced at climbing and dropping the chest down, you had to have someone who was experienced on the puzzles. Honestly, an amazing time for the game. The community felt so together. And then throughout the rest of 2021, they started to add seasons, which we see now. But back then, they added some seriously cool, things to these seasons. In Season 1, you have the Lost Shipment Voyages, which were a totally new way to play the Merchant Alliance, and really made the Merchant grind much more fun. And Season 2 added Forts of Fortune, meaning we now had Forts of Fortune and Forts of the Damned, two really cool forts to kind of take on and get really, really good loot. And obviously Season 3 had the Pirate's Life and all of that stuff. And in Season 4, one of the last updates, I believe, for the game in 2021 was releasing Shrines. And that was about it, really, for 2021. And from 2019 to 2021, we had the prime of the arena. We had, I think, the most active players on at the time. The Pirate's Life totally peaked for players. And the game was so fun, it was so fresh, new content was coming all the time, Rare seemed to be really invested in their community, and the game in general just felt really new, really fun, really fresh constantly, and it looked like it was on a great trend upwards after the pretty poor start it had, and the game was really turned around. It won numerous awards in 2020 and 2021 for Best Evolving Game, and it was just on such a good track. They'd added Megalodons, Krakens, updated Krakens, and they'd added new Megalodons just before 2019, and it really pushed 2019 into be one of the best years of Sea of Thieves, especially with the anniversary update, where they kind of built on all the feedback we'd given as players and just completely changed the game. And they built on that with 2020 and 2021 with the updates they added in those years. And this 2-year period was probably the golden age of Sea of Thieves, and the most fun I had playing the game, and the most fun I had as a content creator making videos on the game. And after this, with seasons, in my opinion, the progress really slowed down. And even at the end of 2021, you could see that the content was getting less and less per update. For example, Season 1 just released Lost Shipments, which was a great voyage, but on its own, not really enough. And this kind of signified the kind of downwards trend the game was taking, in my opinion. But it was pulled totally back up with A Pirate's Life. And we were like, okay, I see why they've been spending, less time on content when they've got this absolutely massive DLC coming. But now there's really no excuse. There's been no new tour tales. Arena shut down. There's been no new factions. It's really been a pretty dry spell for content. And I hope, as a player who loves this game, that the game will be able to recover and get into a better state in the next few months and years to come. And I am confident Rare will do it. I'm just not sure. I am faltering a little bit with my confidence, but I think they will. I hope they will deliver and turn the game around and kind of bring us into a new golden age for the game. I've been playing the game since 2018, and I've loved every moment I've had on the game, really. And I think the game has been super fun recently. I'm not one of those players who's hated the game, but I've had to take long breaks. I mean, from 2018 to 2021, I was playing the game pretty regularly. I was posting quite a lot of content on the game. I was really enjoying playing the game with my friends. We had so many of us on at the time playing. I played with random crews and all that stuff. Alliances were super fun, super new, super fresh. And the game was just, the community felt great. The game felt great. I wasn't bored ever. But in 2022 and 2023 especially, I really didn't play the game much. 2023 was probably the game of the year I played least. I think I played 80 hours 40 hours, I believe, throughout the entire year. Yes, showed it on my end of year stats. And it just wasn't fun for me. And 2024 has brought it back a bit, but it's still been a bit dry. So I hope that the game can recover, and kind of, for me as an old veteran player, I hope it can be revitalized. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But anyway, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, like, comment, subscribe, do all of that stuff, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.